الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. My name is Sophia, I'm your host. The aim of Let the Quran Speak is to help you gain deeper insights into Muslims and Islam as it's practiced here and in other parts of the world. In this episode, we explore the idea of hell. In modern times, we tend to think of the concept of hell as a negative thing. But does the idea of hell serve any benefit to human beings? What does hell do for us? We'll be answering those questions soon. But first, animal cruelty in marine parks. A recent Toronto Star story featured instances of animal abuse and neglect at Marineland, a marine park in Ontario. Should we be concerned about the welfare of animals in these places? Does Islam have anything to offer about the treatment of animals? With me is Brother Shabir Ali, President of the Islamic Information Center. Brother Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
It's my pleasure to be on.
So Brother Shabir, I'm sure you've read the many stories in the Toronto Star recently about the treatment of animals at Marineland.
Yes, they're shocking stories. And of course, it's not so much I don't want to put it in a way that makes it sound like people deliberately have been cruel to animals. Mm-hmm. It seems that
it's the industry. It seems like.
Yes, the result is that we have the death of a baby whale, for example, a very tragic one. When one looks back over what has happened over time, we can blame the oxidity in the water or whatever the scientific explanations for this result, causing the blindness in the baby whale, and then the whale being attacked by others. So whatever the circumstances, it seems that things lead in this way, and the result is tragic. So we have to look back and see, well, whether anyone was deliberately cruel to the animals or not. Are we, as a population, contributing to an industry that is, in the end, overall, cruel to the animals that we love to watch and we enjoy performing for us?
Mm-hmm. So part of it is that the chemicals are put into the water to purify the water, but these chemicals are foreign to the animals in the water. So, for example, sea lions and walruses and things like that, they're not used to these chemicals. So it reacts on their body. The reaction is evident on their body and on their eyes and on their respiratory system. And then the other part of it is the fact that there aren't enough trainers. So you have animals that are not attended to enough. They don't have companionship, so they're lonely. So they experience social problems. Some of them try to commit suicide and do other sorts of destructive things. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, we went to Marineland as children. Many people in Ontario have gone to Marineland. They've taken their kids. They've enjoyed the shows. Should people stop going to these places?
Well, obviously we cannot prescribe such a drastic sort of response, but at least we can call on people to be more conscious of what they're doing and how we use animals. God has created things in a perfect balance. He has provided for humans, he's provided for animals, and there are natural habitats in which animals dwell. These habitats are suitable to the various animals, and if we remove the animals from their natural habitats for the purpose of our enjoyment or for any other purpose, then we are not only depriving them of their freedom as we keep them under some kind of captivity in order to perform what we want them to do, but we are depriving them of that natural habitat that their bodies are and their physiques are most suitable for. So that places on us the added responsibility, if we are using these animals for good purposes, to make sure that the animals are well cared for. Otherwise, we commit what is termed in the Quran dhulm, or oppression. Mm-hmm. We are oppressing the animals.
Is it possible to oppress animals?
Definitely.
In the Islamic tradition?
Yes, there are several reports from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, showing that he did not tolerate people misusing or abusing animals. Now, the Quranic perspective is that God did place for the use of human beings some animals. Animals carry our heavy loads, for example, because some of them have greater physical strength than human beings have, and so they can assist us in these ways. But we should honor and respect the animals that so carry our loads that we benefit from. So once it is noted that the Prophet, peace be upon him, saw a camel whose back had suffered from the weight it carried by now being somewhat bent, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prophet, peace be upon him, complained about this, obviously objected in a stern manner to people treating the animals in this way, giving them more weight than the animals are capable of carrying. If we make use of animals in this way, we should make sure that they're fed properly, they get reasonable sorts of places to stay in, and that their lives have some meaning and purpose as well. If we think more about the situation at hand when we deal with whales and dolphins, especially dolphins are according to some studies, intelligent enough to be self-conscious. If they see their reflections in mirrors, they're able to recognize themselves. So as we go up the hierarchy of animals and we come to the more intelligent ones, then the more intelligent they are, the more we ought to treat them with the respect that they deserve.
Mm-hmm. Now, some people say that these zoos and marine parks and aquariums are good because they help us to learn about animals and animal behavior. And other people, on the other hand, animal rights activists say, well, the sort of behavior that we see from these animals is distorted. It's not their natural behavior. It's not the sort of behavior that they would exhibit if they were out in the wild, in their natural habitats.
Yes, I believe this latter argument to be a good one, that if we train animals to perform like people, to do dances and flips and whatever as people do, then we're anthropomorphizing the animals. We're making them into human beings, and the behaviors that we're enjoying seeing them perform are not natural for them, and probably came as a result of boxing the animals into this sort of behavior through repeated training over time, that one has to ask if all of that has been fair to the animals in the long run. And this is why we see that the modern zoos are evolving such that we used to think of zoos as having animals in cages, but now we have to think of zoos as being as natural as possible habitats for the animals, wide open spaces in which the animals are just simply fenced off for their protection and for our safety, but they enjoy the kinds of natural grounds and environment that they're normally accustomed to, rather than just being caged off as though they were statues or inanimate objects just waiting there to be viewed and examined.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we know that the world of technology has allowed us to learn in many different ways about animals. So we can watch a movie, for example, and there can be just cameras placed in an animal's natural habitat in certain discrete areas, and we can learn a lot about the animal that way.
Of course, and that allows the animals to stay where they are, and we can move the technology and bring the images to wherever we are, anywhere in the world. Human beings are also becoming more and more conscious generally of the need to be sensitive towards animals and to ensure the rights and protections of not only human beings but also of animals.
Mm-hmm. And I guess Muslims should be at the forefront of that, given our tradition of respecting animals.
Absolutely, because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is on record as having prohibited the torture of animals, the shooting of animals just for target practice, for example. Sometimes prior to Islam, people cut off pieces of animals while the animals were still alive. The Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited that. In several ways, the Prophet spoke about the need to be kind to animals. An example given in one of the traditions says that a man went down into a well to bring up water for a thirsty dog, and for that reason he was rewarded with paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Another such tradition speaks about a woman doing something similar.
For a cat, I believe.
For a dog as well, but
Okay.
then the reverse is also mentioned, that someone caged up a cat,
Mm-hmm.
not allowing the cat to go out and seek its own food, but also not providing enough food for the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cat eventually died. So this person is punished by God because of this lack of care for the cat.
All right, thank you for that, Brother Shabir.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, the concept of hell.